包括比赛的改编啊，地图的更新，也是我们这款游戏能够一直持续火热下去的最大的原因。
是，
对，所以包括这两天我之前来解说那个城市争霸赛嘛，就是咱们 TJ 前两天比赛，我也说到一个问题，就是说看到这些队伍有很多队伍打得非常不错，比如说像 EDG 的2队啊，今天这几天他们就要打决赛了，还有像这个 WE 的3队啊，就很多志气未脱的选手给我们带来了，
对，
给我们带来了很亮眼的表现，让人眼前一亮。那这样我们也很开心，因为只有不停的有新鲜的血液注入到我们的比赛当中，我们的比赛才能越来越精彩。我当然也希望会有更多的更强的本土选手。
好的，那么这边的话。
And guys, welcome back. Here it is time for Champ Select. Young Glory versus VG. It is our second game here with VG up 1-0 right now. And Razzle, that was a great way to start off our LPL Spring Expansion tournament here with a quick win there in this best of 3. What just well played endgame by VG in particular. That was the thing that really struck me.
Yeah, it was just a flexing muscles from both teams. Both teams were like, "Am I going to win this team fight?" You never knew. You never know. Let's just. But Amy knew, and as you can tell, YG is going to ban that out as a second ban, for including the Zillion.
Yep, no more Lee Sin, please. It was a strong performance, to say the least, there from Vici Gaming's jungler. We've got 10 seconds left now on that ban as well for YG. They've got the Zillion in there as well, as we saw also be quite effective, and Rise Nah plus Thresh, the last ban there for Young Glory. So we'll see what VG want to do. 29 seconds left there for their particular pick. And they're going to go with Lucian, actually, as their last ban.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like 28 seconds into the ban. Oh, immediately they go for the Janna first pick. And as a response, is Carey going to go for his patented Riven? He does always, I wouldn't say always, but it's his pick that he tends to go for if he wants to, how do I say it, carry a game. And he's really, really well tuned. Oh, I guess he's just playing with the crowd, honestly, because this is a LAN, so... yeah, let's see. He's going over Rengar and Corki. Yeah, these are both solid picks here.
I mean, I'm ready for the Riven if it's coming, but unfortunately, I don't think we'll be seeing that here. So we're going to give VG a little bit more time to see what they would want to pick. 6 seconds left now for their picks, and I'm going to go with Corki plus Rengar. So again, lots of really strong, very solid, very powerful picks that see a lot of play on this particular patch.
All right, and so I don't know what to expect here. Probably since Corki's been taken away, possibly the Ezreal. I mean, Ezreal's been seeing a lot of play here, so I wouldn't doubt it. An Ezreal, John. Oh, actually, here comes the Jace. Yeah, they're going for their mid lane pick first here.
Yeah, Jace, John, a really nice core as well. Curious to see what they want to move in for their jungler as well. 10 seconds left. No, never mind. No seconds left as Kha'Zix will get locked in there as the second and third picks there for Young Glory. So kind of a bit of a different team comp. Lots of big AoE team fight in their last comp. Looks like they're building more of a poke up this time, but the response coming very quickly here. Broma, great pick against Jono, and just in general against poke, but Xerath as well, gonna try and match some of that poke in that mid lane. So
I'm very surprised with Xerath. Xerath does actually do extremely well with the Rengar pick. That's a really nice combination between the two. I was expecting Orianna, but I guess Dian Gun was like, I'm not doing that hot with I mean, even though he was doing really well farm-wise and team fight-wise, but he wasn't doing his patented Dian Gun carry. So I guess he wants to see if he does more in the poke department with Xerath. And I guess, oh, here comes the Ezreal. Yeah, the Ezreal John. Ooh, the Graves is a little better, actually. The Graves John lane.
They juked you.
Yeah.
There's no Ezreal here. We have been seeing Ezreal see play recently, but this is the Chinese AD carry if there ever was one, by the way. Graves and the return of the freight train potentially here as well. That is quite the upfront burst here. I mean, not really the same poke as you would have complemented the Jace pick quite nicely. Rumble actually does do wonders with the Jace and the Kha'Zix as well as far as poke goes, but Graves is just all about being super brutal and just getting in there with that ultimate as much as you can. Janna augments that ability so well as well. So this could be quite a fun one here from Young Glory.
Oh, and they were hovering over Riven for quite some time.
Oh, man.
VG. But then they just go for the early. I was so ready. I was so ready.
Right.
I'm so sad.
That's okay. One day we'll see some more Riven.
One day.
But Aurelia instead, which worked out very nicely for Carry in the last game there as well for Vici Gaming. So not too surprised to see a repeat there. Going to take that teleport in the top lane there as well. So pretty nice stuff here.
Yeah, definitely. These are both very, very strong team fight compositions. Janna's going to do really well in deflecting the Rengar and Braum engage. And also at the same time, I feel like I'm gonna have to give this off to. It's difficult because both team comps have different strengths, but I love the level 6 real power spike coming out of the Graves composition as well. So I might want to favor that one a bit because I do love myself some Graves picks, although I do love myself some Ezreal picks. Kind of sour that that didn't come out, but
Hey, they were going to pick it potentially, okay?
yeah,
They're
they're
clearly
close.
pandering very, very much to you here, Raz. I think it's funny, actually, just from watching this draft in the last game, how Young Glory had just a straight up AoE teamfight comp in the last game. That was about all their comp did. It had a lot of early and mid game strength, but they're all about getting together at those objectives, grouping up, and just hammering through their opponents with big team fights. And they just kept getting picked off by VG's really wonky. I don't even like. It was the semi pick comp with a little bit of team fight, and it was very strange. But they made it work for sure with the champions they had.
I feel like
This time
Amy
around,
made it work.
I feel like both teams have sort of team fight comps with sub themes built into them, which is interesting. So they've both got sort of a poke sub theme going on. YG, sorry, is a little bit stronger on their side, but it's curious to see what happens here. Definitely some curious drafting here to kick things off in the LPL expansion. But we are into game 2 now. VG, as you can note, are up a game so far as we do click over to 40 seconds on the clock. Going to start this level 1. YG are on the left-hand side for this game around, and VG are going to be on the left. We saw pretty much no level 1 action to start things off, so curious to see if we have a difference here.
Yeah, definitely. I think the funniest thing that honestly, I'm looking forward to a late game here just to see how the Rengar Kha'Zix like hunt works out. Honestly, Rengar loses out a bit in the hunt ever since his stack changes. Oh, wait, actually, we're seeing an engage here.
Yeah, we actually have a bit of trouble. They're going to go in. VG decided, you know what? We don't really like sitting at level 1 as Rengar dives in. Good boulder. That's going to force the flash out of Kha'Zix, who has to dodge the Winter's Bite there from Braum, and now Rumble going to turn and just kind of keep them at bay with the Electro Harpoon. But just some aggressive wards from VG and a free flash. Nice bit of pressure in the early game.
In this tournament, I was looking forward to Captain 57's jungling skill because, in my opinion, he was just the best jungler coming out of the LSPL / I guess, in the tournament in general. But YG is, but like VG's Amy is just, he's amazing. He's a god, and I want to see how he plays now on Rengar because we did see his like amazing skills on Lee Sin, but Rengar's a little bit more limited. But I guess it doesn't matter for him. He's just gonna use what his I was about to say what his daddy gave him, but that doesn't make sense at all. Actually,
what his team gave him, maybe.
What his
in this
team
particular
gave.
draft too. What the patch notes gifted him here is China Graves have started their push here. 12, sorry, on the clock. Almost said 2:31. I'm just going to have some trades back and forth. Now this, we talked about aggressive bottom lanes last time with Corki, and then Corki Nami in particular did a lot of nice work for YG early on. This is a very short-ranged, all-in caster AD sort of battle here with some reasonably aggressive supports, although they're quite different with Jana versus Braum. I think we could see a lot of fireworks here in the bottom lane, especially once we hit level 2 and either team tries to potentially all-in the 2v2.
100%, yeah, and I would definitely favor the Graves channel lane. The like Graves already has a lot of innate tankiness AD. He has so much going for him in his kit, and now you have the Jan on him, and it's just going to be so much burst, so much damage coming. It's really going to be difficult for and push as well. So it's going to be really difficult to see how like VG won't really be able to deal with it. Braum is a melee champion as well, so he can't really trade all too well. So it's going to be a struggle.
It will indeed. Here's Carry versus starts kicking through. Never mind, back towards the bottom lane. Again, just Graves trying to push in. This is kind of the default, I feel. Oh, great stun actually on Jace. That's a good amount of poke there. YG's mid lane are going to try and turn around, but Zuna's looked nice. Was playing Zillion before. And just, very passive, very farm-heavy sort of mid laner that just wants to be safe and hang out. Looking much more aggressive here on this Xerath pick with hitting pretty much every single skill shot.
Yeah, definitely. I guess now he was actually playing extremely well last game. Diangun, he was playing Orianna. He was playing
Orianna, yes.
He was playing superbly on that Orianna. And now he wants to switch it up into a more poke-heavy style, and he's just dominating the lane. He's just an amazing player. He's a god, really. And so
also, he was playing Zillion last game. So
YG's
was playing Ori. Yeah, now he's playing Jace. And we've had Xerath answered here for
yes.
Zillion last game there for
the mix-up. There we go. And here comes the ball.
Yeah, just kind of hanging out. Moon here going to get aggressive. Good Winter's Bite. Actually, Corki going to go in. Good knock-up, though. Going to maybe interrupt enough, but the flash does get burnt there by Graves. Does get stunned towards the end of his own brush, though. So we'll be safe there, and nice little exchange down the bottom. Pretty even, actually. I think Giant Graves is going to innately win a lot of trades just based on, as you already mentioned, that True Git passive being so good for Graves' early tankiness.
Yeah, but these all-ins will be working really well for YG. It seems like Amy's going to be positioning for the gank out here. This is not going to be good for YG. Let's see how this works. Here comes the TP as well.
Oh, man, his favorite thing in the world, to wrap around the bottom of a tri-bush in a lane and really get aggressive here. TP does also come down, and we're going to dive through. Carry here has found a new friend, and Graves goes down immediately as Carry once again gets first blood in a game with a teleport. And in the bottom lane.
This really does come back to the fact that I feel like VG's communication with their top laner is top notch. They're able to, of course, coordinate their top lane ganks and bot lane ganks as well with the TP extremely well. And you have to really question how YG is dealing with their new top laner Start, who is Korean, by the way. And I don't know how the communication is working out, but it definitely feels like Start is not able to really TP all too well into these team fights, and he's really struggling with that in general. So, how will it affect this game is really what I'm wondering.
Well, I mean, Carry really got the ball rolling for VG in that first game, so could go very similar here. No Dragon this time, though, for VG Gaming. That's kind of the difference. They took a very quick 5.5-minute Dragon last time, and we're just past 5 and Dragon is still there, so couldn't quite go for that one. Didn't get enough kills, I guess. Just the one there for Carry, who's again going to fall slightly behind NCS. So actually kept it quite even, so looks like he had the wave in a pretty good spot once he did leave him for that TP. And that's the mark of a really strong top laner, when you're also just, hanging out and not just the little things like when to TP when your team tells you, but also how to set up for that TP potentially and what things in your lane to observe when you start it. So Carry, he's definitely impressed me on this Aurelia so far. Back with the early Sheen once again. Starts in trouble, I have to say.
Carry's always really solid with these top laners, Aurelia and Riven. I don't feel like I've seen him lose out in lanes all too often. He is a really solid top laner, along with Zun, who is new. So, and Amy is like the coordination between Amy and Carry is probably what's going to win them through this tournament, in my opinion. So, let's see how much pressure he can exert in this map.
We'll have to see here. Everyone's kind of maneuvering around. Again, lots of early roaming here by both teams here. As Carry's actually maybe a little too far forward here against Start. Start's going to try and outplay a beautiful play there. The flash not enough to save him. And bang on 7 minutes is that first kill there for VG. There's Jace. Forced to flash away the poke. Not quite enough as Zerath couldn't get that ult out. And again, lots of aggression. I mean, these teams do not like to stay in lane for very long. I got to tell you, they love to roam and try and get kills. And now Bobo actually may be in danger of getting Dovi, but looks like he'll be safe for now.
Yeah, definitely. It's Diangun on that Jace. He's actually, I would say he's keeping up in CS definitely, but he's struggling this time in comparison to his last game. And it looks like Amy is a little bit too ambitious.
By the way, he really wanted to go in for that blue buff, but Kazak's going to chase him down here. Good flash, actually. Exhaust down as well. Here's the top off the W. There's the snare coming in the slow. And beautiful play there by Rengar. Zerath cleans up that next kill. Now Rumble going to dive in, but he's overheated. Enough damage, though, to get the kills there as he takes out Rengar. Can he get a few more? Gets the second. Can he make the triple? Can't quite get it done. Zerath does get the kill. Actually, Q goes off as he dies, and carnage ensues in the LPL. 6 kills, 3 apiece for both teams. Welcome to Chinese League of Legends.
Can we have a moment of silence for that? Like, oh god, man, that was a massive fight in the Baron Pit. I don't think I've actually seen such a massive fight in the Baron Pit before Baron even spawns. It was so superbly played. First, like, Amy got caught out in the blue side jungle trying to steal that blue buff, and then he was able to really just kite him out and heal himself. And I guess that's where the beauty started, that Baron fight. Oh, God.
We talked about his mechanics before on Lee Sin and just how good this jungler is from Vici. Those Rengar mechanics are not accidental. You don't do that.
Yeah.
And instead of be like, yeah, I just pressed all my buttons and that's what happened. Like, no. That was incredibly well played. And we've seen so much precise technical play from Amy here in this game. It's a joy to watch. And again, no surprise here that Chinese LoL would just evolve into a 3v3 in the Baron Pit at 8 minutes. It's great.
God,
definitely. I can tell you all that much.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's really nice to watch. And he's coming up in this top lane.
Yeah, we are going to calm things down just a little bit here. So we could have a 2v2 actually here. 4 members in the top. Carry started on to start. Karzik, so get it. I mean, that's a great equalizer on top. And Renga gets exploded by that rumble damage. Definitely bit off a little too much that time.
Oh, and Carrie's getting chased under his second tier tower. Will he get taken down? Yes, he does. That is amazing. And of course, here comes the all-in from Zun. Will he? No, okay. He misses all his 3 ulti procs, so... Oh, well. What can you say at that point? Just shrug your...
Yep, Zun's just kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
Can't really get it done. And again, we just kind of return to casual farming for now. Here, Graves are going to go in, getting aggressive there, Sir, with a nice shield, actually. Really augmenting all that Graves damage. There's so many synergies in just between Janna's shield and Graves as a champion that it's actually really cool to see Graves kind of come back a little bit.
Yeah, nice. It'll be great to see. Like, for a while, we've seen, like, Janna Ezreal, and as much as great as it is to see that Ezreal, I was like, Graves is a perfect champion. Like, he's extremely strong in lane, and he can really create, like, powerful dragon fights, like early dragon fights. Once he hit that level 6 spike, he just has amazing scaling in AD. So I'm surprised YG hasn't been able to really pressure that a little bit more, but they are holding that lane down rather well with that hefty CS lead.
Yeah, I like that you wanted to mention the strong level 6 power spikes here. Young Glory's Rumble start here, the new player. 610, that's all of the kills that YG currently have. Up on CS against this Aurelia. Carry was the problem that really started things here for Young Glory, but now they're getting aggressive on top of this dragon. Rumble is an absolute monster. Nobody wants to fight the level 8 Rumble, who still has his TP. He walked down to that dragon to make sure he took it out here. And 11 minutes in, as we just took over there. He's off to exactly that, a good one of those. And Carry is playing catch-up for the first time in this series we've seen so far. We've seen this matchup play out twice now in 2 games, and this is going a lot better. So if he's the new player that's trying to prove himself here, he's got a really strong game to show that he can carry games and be a force and be quite the force here.
Yeah, definitely. The thing is, I realized that once Carry has gotten fed off these amazing TPs, once he comes back into the lane, he starts playing out too well. Like, once he gets into those early engagements, oh, and here comes the catch out from Kha'Zix. Will he go down? Yes, he does.
Kyle's hanging out in the wolves here. Elmer's going to dive on top of him. Moon does quite there. Hops out of the way. Jace now around the side as well. Great ultimately gets the double knockup as well. Jace now going to get chased out under his turret, but does call Janna in, plus hammers Moon away there as well. In fact, maybe he can get a kill. No, not quite on the tornado. There's the equalizer they're coming through. Great slow there from Xerath to get everybody out of the way. And that was a very nicely placed W there from Zone, just to make sure the rest of the teams are able to get out safely. And strong counter jungling there, using both the support and the Rengar to get in there and really get aggressive in Young Glory's left-hand side of the map.
Yeah, it was really well done. Vici is really showing a lot of power. Vegeta power. Like, I'd like to top that off to, who was it, Tasty Nubbins here when we were talking about Vici Gaming. We were calling him Vegeta Gaming. I'm not even sure where that even started from, I think, actually. But it's fun to say. It was fun. It's right off the tip of your tongue, really. Yeah.
I mean, they certainly powered up at the end of that last game here, but they're going to have a bit more of a hill to climb here in this one if they are going to take it up. YG actually have a decent little lead here, 3,000 gold almost, as we're approaching it. Again, a nice little section here for VG to really get aggressive. In fact, they're going to find members here. VG continuing to play despite being slightly behind here in this game. There are no objectives on the map. I love this, by the way. When the Chinese teams don't have objectives, like, we need to tower dive.
Yeah.
We're not doing something. When Dragon's on up and when they can't go to Baron and try and have a dance, apparently all they want to do is fight. And we've seen that a lot here. Both these teams have just loved fighting each other in this series so far.
Yeah, it's been a massive flex in muscle, and although there's a lot of wars being put down, trying to get that vision advantage in lieu of maybe a possible dragon that could be coming up anytime. But it's just... oof, like, these fights, it's constant, and Jace is ramping up, so I'm not sure if YG really wants it until they start getting some real poke down, but it looks like they'll be getting this tower down in the mid lane.
Yeah, this is where YG's team comp, again, has that sort of poke sub-theme in it that I mentioned. Really outshines VG in terms of siege pressure and potential here. So the Graves, even Graves in the siege is decent. You can use Buckshot to clear waves nice and quickly. And when you call this Rumble in as well, who's getting pretty big. I assume Start has a decent amount of gold to actually spend here as well. They're actually going to group up as 5 members here now in the mid lane and try and take this out. 14 no, it's 14-9. Sorry, almost can't quite read those numbers. As VG do manage to deflect. That looks like there was a pretty half-hearted push there from Young Glory. He's like, nah.
Yeah, after a while they were a little bit uncomfortable where that was going. It was like, I can tell where this is going. A fight is about to happen. Do we want this? I don't think so. We're gonna back away from this situation.
And instead, it looks like both teams might actually wait it out for the next Dragon here. I mean, again, I assume there's some gold to spend before that happens, and Dragon's up in a number of minutes, so we'll have to see what happens there. Jay's powering up, as you said, as well, just kind of moving through. Trinity Force on the way for Corky. That's a nice spike there once he gets it. IE on the way for Graves as well. I do like that build, actually. Bloodthirster, not quite as good as it used to be as a Graves first item, but Infinity Edge just kind of gives you a nice rounded bunch of stats that you could work with, and other than that, an early Morelli-Nomicon, plus maybe a Zhonya's there for Xerath, who also has a Tear of the Goddess, by the way. So, bit of everything there for the Vici Gaming mid laner.
Yeah, and he has quite some time until an actual fight started. That'll be just about 2 minutes until the next, it's 1:40 to be exact, on the next Dragon fight. So, it'll be interesting to see how that fight will turn out. They will be getting the top lane turret, though, so that's really well rotated by YG.
Yeah, just keeping a strong arm on the left-hand side of the map as best they can. And VG, who presumably setting up for the Dragon we've been kind of talking about for the last minute and a half. Easy tier 2 turret there for YG. So they continue to pad that lead, 3,500 gold or so in the lead for them. And YG have plenty of time to rotate down towards the Dragon. In fact, Start has to go by. I imagine there's a decent item threshold for him to finish now, given just how much CS and how many kills he has at a pretty early stage of the game. And there we go, almost finishing the zone. He's picked himself up a needlessly large rod.
Just about. There's a tower dive happening here in the bottom lane. But, of course, here comes a TP from from Start. So, yeah, it was successfully defended against. But the Rumble ulti did go down, and here comes Amy from the backside.
Ultimate popped as well. Graves actually going to get the first kill onto Braum, but Rengar going to try and find someone else. Corky goes down there as well. So it's 2 for 1 right now as Braum went down in there as well. Now Zun's rotated down. That's a good stun. Plus they're slow, but they don't have enough damage. And Elmi can't quite clean up in time. Carry, though, didn't use the TP, so he'll save that for the Dragon fight if they start it. And again, 2 for 1 trade as the Dust Saddles Young Glory come out just slightly ahead.
Yeah, this is working out rather well, and it's just off the back of Start. Now Start's really coming in for the TPs, and who was a really well-timed TP. I've been criticizing his ability to use that Summoner spell, but that was really well-timed. And now he has 7 kills on him. That's such a massive advantage, and he's starting to really just get this game rolling on their end.
Yeah, it almost might even be something, just some lag almost from the last game where they're like, oh, Rumble wasn't scary at 17 minutes in the last game. We didn't have to fear him, and all of a sudden Starts had such a better game. Defensively, TP's in quite late, and just the equalizer is more than enough to clean out. There's the Dragon as well, 17:05. That goes down there as Kha'Zix is able to clean that one out, and Carries in the top lane taking out a tower. So 3 for 1 as VG actually pick up their first turret of the game. But VG Gaming, they was kind of struggling to get a gold lead back to even here, where before it was even and then they slowly got ahead once they got into the mid game. So, all that pressure that Aurelia was able to put out early on, not quite there this time. And I feel like as well as Rengar's played this particular game, not the same super high impact initiation that Lee Sin was for Amy in the last game.
Yeah, they definitely needed Amy to just do some insane, like the mobility that he had on Lee Sin. And of course, Kha'Zix is actually coming in here. So let's see how this fight works out.
Yeah, Rengar does dive back in. There's the Xerath ultimate on top as well. That's a lot of damage with the Janna ultimate. Is going to keep everybody safe. And now stun does land onto Jace. Rocket poke back in there as well. But that's just it. It's poke at this point here for VG. Can't quite close the deal. And it's kind of awkward to me that you would pick Xerath into a Jace. Jace, I feel like just, at least in Siege, just pokes out a lot better. In fact, we could be looking at a dive here. No, just the tower goes down as Jace is able to clean that one out. And VG playing pretty safe here, giving up, I think, objectives they just have to at this point. Rengar wasn't there for that team fight. They don't want to overcommit. If they get a pick, sure, they'll go in. If they get some poke down, sure, maybe they can follow up. But they have to play a lot more conservative than they did in the last game. And Young Glory, I feel like, got plenty of room to just go in and be aggressive, because that's exactly what they did in the last game. Even when they were behind, they just went in all the time.
Yeah, and one commonality I really noticed from between both games is that Carry, of course, he will get snowballing off of maybe like a TP in the bot lane, a really well-timed one at that, and then he'll go back into the top lane. Oh, actually, we have Amy going in.
He's gone in. Onto that Jace that wants to get aggressive. Slow comes out, stun just misses. But Kara goes absolutely deep there on top and takes him out. With that tower's just doing quite a bit of damage. Moon jumps in there, blocks just enough damage from the Graves ult there to live. Beautifully played by VG support player, and Carry gets rewarded somehow for his ridiculous tower dive.
I don't think I can ever get a point across. This is just these games have just been fight, 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 fight. Amy, if Amy feels like, oh God, I haven't been doing much in the last 10 seconds. I guess I just better ult in.
Yeah.
Like, he
I
just
mean,
does it.
it's almost unfortunate for him that his gap closer ability is an ultimate cooldown because we saw him before. He was ward hopping, queuing blindly, just kind of testing the waters, seeing if he felt like going in that time. 90% of the time I feel like he follows in with the Qs on Lee Sin, but with Rengar, he's got to wait like what, a good 2 minutes or so between ultimate cooldowns before he can leap in again. So maybe he needs to pick a champion with a more immediate gap closer because he loves going in and initiating for his team.
Exactly. That's what I think is the biggest problem here because as great as he has been playing on Rengar, it's just the champion itself, the kit itself is too limiting for how good he is. So if he like plays Elysian, of course, that's real like just hop around. He can do whatever he wants for like at like 10-second intervals. He can't do that with Rengar. So possibly maybe if he is as good, maybe he could pick up an Elise. I don't know. There's a lot of options here that he has in his disposal. So let's just. I guess he's just hoping, double crossing that maybe like Lee Sin doesn't get banned in the next game if the next game does end up happening because of course this is a best of 3.
I think our carry in particular as well has been the other guy that's just going like incredibly ham every time he gets a chance, and his team follows up really nicely. I think that's actually part of the reason Zillion worked so well was that it just enabled this Aurelia pick so well. In fact, Zillion's fantastic with Rengar as well. It was unfortunately banned in this game, and YG, they're just getting slowly further and further ahead. I mean, it's been pretty static. The gold lead's pretty much sat at about 3,000 or so the entirety of the last 5 to 10 minutes, but they're gaining ground here, and again, much like we saw with VG with the lead, never mind, Equalizer opens up, they're going to go in onto both. He goes down to collateral damages. Greg just goes all the way in. Buckshot will get blocked off there by Unbreakable, but a good tornado going to catch up. No mobility options. Does go down there to Jana as they get a 2 for 0 there, and YG all of a sudden they've broken it open.
They just had all the answers within the span of 7 seconds there. They just like, bam, bam, bam. They just hit him in all points. Zin was out of position. They're like, well, there you go. You're dead. It was just amazing. YG suddenly showing why this is the team that beat, of course, except for Start. But Start, this is a good start, if I may say so myself. But yeah, this is the team that beat out like EDG near the end of the summer split last phase. So this is like all they need is some practice. All they need is to get Start really going with his team. They have the tools necessary for their success. They just really need to hammer it in, and I can see this team working out really well in the next split of the LPL.
Yeah, we'll have to see. They've got to make it there first. Remember, they've got to win this game and the next if they want to stay in the upper bracket and continue to run here in the LPL Spring Expansion Tournament. VG still going to fight here, but that gold lead is stretched real big now. And this is actually how the last game played out. VG just kind of kept it close, but we're staying slightly ahead, keeping good map pressure on, and all of a sudden something broke and Young Glory just couldn't come back. Huge. I think in that game it was a Baron fight plus the inhibitor actually was when they took 2 different things on the map.
Oh, right, yeah.
About 6-7k goal, which is where YG are now, and all of a sudden YG were able to close out the game. They don't even need Baron, by the way. They're just going to plow down this mid lane and see what other damage they can get done. And VG, they're going to be holding on for dear life here. And he's going to have to dig real deep on this Rengar if he wants to try and make it for his team. Plus carry as well. They need to set up really strong picks, but they don't have the same team comp they did in the last game where they were picking YG off left, right, and center. YG are just... they're going to muscle all the way down the rest of this game, you have to think.
100%. Like last game, YG did have the team fight, but like strength. They
just never found a fight.
Yeah, they were never able to find the fight, and when they did, like Amy was just like playing like the role of the sneaky like I can't say it. I don't want to say sneaky bastard, but he was ridiculous. He was just evading everything they could, and they just couldn't ever catch him. But now they can. Now he's on Rengar, so it's so nice to see this team really get going. And honestly, I want to see both teams succeed, and it's a great thing. This is a double elimination that we can see both teams really try and prove their strength as a team later on in this tournament. So, but like I feel like YG should be able to take this game.
Yeah, YG gonna muscle down this turret here. That should go down, and will indeed.
Oh my god. Down goes here.
Action coming in, there's a collateral damage coming in, there's a good ultimate actually sits on top of it, and I can see what you were worrying about there. Is actually going to keep going in for this team fight. Corky going to jump through. Aurelia's trying to run away as well, but Buckshot there, plus the poke in there from the Void Spike, so Kazi cleans it out. Double kill there for Car. Graves picks up one as well. Aurelia will answer with a kill, but that's 5 for 1 here, and that might be our second game here as YG in one fell swoop of a team fight, looking to close this second game.
Yeah, GGYG, this was excellently played. They just, the moment they got the start, oh god, I can't even believe I used that pun without even realizing. The moment they got
I wasn't going to say anything, but
the moment they got the start with start, they were just like, they just took the lead at every point of the game. They were like, well, are you winning this fight? I don't think so. We have a 6-1 rumble. Bam, bam, bam. They took the point. And so it was really entertaining to see this. I don't think they're going to let him have rumble again, honestly.
Yeah, that's a good point. And a very different looking VG after that game there as well. And I think we kind of alluded to it before that game ended in very dramatic fashion. And boy, did that end quickly there for Young Glory. I feel like those two games are just teams dictating fights on their terms, making such a big difference when the end game comes down to it as well. Because VG were just able to find fights that they wanted to fight in game 1, and every single team fight in that game went the way of Young Glory. No team fight was started if Young Glory didn't want it to start, and as soon as that happened, you could just see the experience they've had in playing in the LPL before, just the team fight synergy that they have, and just the strength individually of these players as well. When they started fights in that game, they were not close at all.
Yeah.
And that might be the problem, because the jungler for Vici definitely carried them through a lot of fights in game 1, but he couldn't make it happen, and the team looked a little just less potent. YG looked great as a unit there, would start really spearheading a very strong early game, and we're going to have a game 3 here in this upper bracket. It should be a lot of fun here, and I don't know, man. I think that Rumble also has to hit the chopping block. I don't want to see it again.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, if I'm a VG fan, I don't want to see it again.
Yeah, if I was edging with VG, I'm not sure if I am. I'm trying to be as down the middle as possible, but like Rumble has to go. That can't be a thing Start is working with.
Well, we'll have to see. You definitely had the Lee Sin ban in the last game. Let's see if you get the Rumble on, guys. We are going to take a quick break here, but game 3 here between YG and VG Gaming as we kick off the LPL Spring Expansion Tournament. It's going to be coming right after this.
水果呀，乱七八糟的东西，而且他那个选手的手册呀，包括那个工作证啊，都做得越来越精细了吧？这肯定是一个最好的一个
规范化了。对，主要是记住了吃，这一点是最直观的感受。那刚刚也是提到了这一届的这个 LPL 预选。
Yeah, I'm going to. So I noticed at the literally.
惨的了，但是今年的话已经有一些的很好的一些进步了，包括像 OMG 在这个小组赛的时候打了一个大翻盘，也是我自己解说，所以这届的比赛当然亲临现场的感觉肯定是要比坐在电视机前更强烈一些，我也更期待明年中国战队的表现吧。
因为我们印象最深的那场 OMG 的翻盘是米勒亲自就是解说的，
那个就是
印象
感动
太深刻，
得一塌糊涂的。
那就是刚刚也是提到这个，因为有12支队伍嘛，会出现在明年的 LPL 当中。那你觉得这一定是对战队来讲是好的，对吗？
对，因为你知道欧金现在是16支队伍，他们会分成4个小组来进行一个小组赛，再到淘汰赛的一个赛制。那可能我们也稍微要借鉴一下他们这种赛制，因为这种确实更残酷一些，或者说竞争力会更大一些。更多的战队加入，可能让那些老牌战队觉得自己是稳坐钓鱼台，或者说比较放松那种心态，这样会发生一个刺激的一个作用嘛？因为可能像这些老牌战队也要想着会不会下一个赛季我就会被这些新的战队替换下去，所以可能对于整个联赛来说都会有一个促进的一个效果吧，会更加激烈。
不管怎么样，也是希望呢，就是我们的这一些小小的改变，然后能够使更多的战队获得更多的机会。
是的，
好，那也是特别感谢米勒做客我们的这个声色 TJ， 也是希望你的这个解说能够顺顺利利。好，谢谢。
好的，欢迎回来。那么接下来是继续看一下这波3的第3场到底会如何。那么在上一场比赛当中的话，其实主要还是关键，一个是确实上一场的一个蓝波跟前一场
判若两人，
对，感觉就是说是好像不是同一个人在玩的那样的一个感觉。
还是选手自己在前期打出一些优势，然后慢慢自己自信心回来了。
对，
有自信其实是非常重要的一件事。然后再加上这一局，整个 YG 战队的阵容选择还是蛮不错的。
是的，
就是他的杰斯这个强势点拿出来，然后加上螳螂在。
其实你可以看到，就是说是，其实，在刚刚的，就是说是 VGS 他们有好多次，其实都是，譬如说你控住啦或者怎么样，你就是打不死，就是感觉就是差那么就是说是400-500的这个伤害。
包括最后这个泽拉斯大招什么开了一下，然后闪现这招都在，就直接被秒了。
对，那一波的话，说实话，那个时候确实劣势已经很大，因为毕竟被破了一罗塔，也被推了很多。
对，
但确实是有机会能够守下来的。守下来的话，就往后拖的话，他们这个阵容的话还是非常有机会的。
就你起码要等到泽拉斯发育起来，才会有机会。
对他这个时候的话，没有帽子，
对，
就是说是连个帽子都没有，没有伤害太低了。
主要还是那个兰博这边伤害太高了，很难，一个大招放出来，这边血都掉了，没法打了。然后男生的伤害也挺高的。
但其实最后就是那一波他的这个大招的话，其实纯粹就是为了想要
秒掉这个泽拉斯。
对，
其他。